I'm Reverend J. Stewart Glover, and you're listening to Faith Talk. Today, as we continue our journey along this Advent season, I invite you to reflect with me on a word that appears in the teachings of Jesus, but is often left undefined and conveniently avoided in our conversations about faith and money. In Matthew 6:24, Jesus says, "No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." But here's the thing. That is how the verse reads in the New International Version. And interestingly, in the King James Version, we find a variance in the text. The word money is replaced with the word mammon. So the question becomes, are money and mammon the same thing, or does mammon carry a broader and deeper meaning? We know what money is. Money is a currency, a tool used for exchange. But money itself is not mammon. Mammon points to something much larger. What is it? The term comes from an Aramaic word commonly translated as wealth or riches. And in the New Testament, particularly in Matthew 6:24 and Luke 16:9-13, mammon is personified. It's treated like a rival master or a carnal pulling at the heart, even a competing deity. Theologically and psychologically as well, mammon represents far more than money. It symbolizes greed and materialism. It symbolizes the idolatrous power of wealth. It's a mindset or a system in which security, identity, and meaning are rooted in possessions and power rather than in God. So biblically, mammon is often linked to injustice, exploitation, and deeply misplaced priorities. Mammon is what happens when wealth is elevated from a useful tool to becoming the ultimate concern in life. When money and possessions become the source of our identity, our safety, and our worth. So when does mammon become our master? It takes control in subtle but powerful ways. First, when we believe wealth provides ultimate security. Mammon becomes a master when we depend on money more than God for peace, stability, or safety. You know, what we trust in ultimately becomes our God. Secondly, it becomes our master when our possessions shape our identity. If our sense of worth comes from what we own and how we appear or how much we accumulate, we are no longer free. We are living under mammon's definition of value. Thirdly, when our desires become disordered with an unquenchable consumerism, the constant need for more begins to govern our decisions, relationships, and priorities. Fourthly, when spiritual ethics and values are sacrificed for material gain. When generosity feels burdensome, or when worship competes with work and hustle, or when ethical choices are shaped by profit rather than righteousness, mammon is at work. At its core, mammon reflects inordinate or disordered attachments to wealth, power, and greed, when wealth and power matter more than God. So, resisting mammon is not to reject money altogether. It is to refuse to let money define us. It is to remember that our value is not measured by what we own, earn, or accumulate. Our value is rooted in being created, loved, and redeemed by God. Jesus invites us to store treasures in heaven. not merely as a future reward, but as a present way of living, a way of life, living from a posture of gratitude, love, and justice. So today, let's ask ourselves these questions. What is shaping our trust? What is forming our desires? And what master is quietly discipling us? So, beloved, may this Advent season help us to be freed from the pulling of mammon and open our lives to the true King who comes not to take, but to give. May we choose the freedom of trusting God over the anxiety of serving mammon. And may we be found ready, not with full hands, but with open hearts. Grace and peace be with you. I'm Reverend J. Stewart Glover. You're listening to Faith Talk. These episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, and other podcast platforms. So kindly like and subscribe. And more importantly, share with your friends and family. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.